time. It's time. It's time. It's Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy. Yeah. 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 It's Commissioner Cooper, and it's time.
How the fuck you got me up this damn early, Jason?
It's time.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Commissioner Cooper, and you are waking up with TSS Fantasy.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. It is indeed Nick suffering from a cold, unfortunately, so he's toughing it out.
Sinusitis.
We appreciate. Yeah, I didn't want to get all into the minutia of what you had there. So anyway, let's get started. We got a busy week 18. Welcome to the studio, Nick. You got Flandern Macaronis.
Yes, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It is Nick. You got Flandern Macaronis. You can find me on Twitter. And you can also find our lovely products, rankings, and everything you want to know about us on tssfantasy.com.
That's right. Don't forget, visit us, tssfantasy.com. I do need to update the rankings this morning, so my bad. Things have been fluctuating as we've gone on this week, so I will get that updated for us. Don't forget also this morning, you are waking up Belly Up this morning on our Belly Up Podcast Network. We got some great shows on there. If you're listening to us on Colorcast, you want to check some of these guys are on Colorcast as well. We got the Bears pregame show with Coach Steve. 4th and 4 is on after that from 10 to 11. 11 to 12, we got the Rough Cut. And from 12 to 11, Dan Maynard finishes out on our Sunday morning lineup. Don't forget, too, we're going live now on Colorcast as well. So don't forget to download that app. Add us on there. You can interact with us live. That's the great part about joining us on Colorcast. Today, also, we're going to be partnering with Rave On Sports. I'll actually be covering the Dolphins game a little bit different the way Colorcast works with Rave On. It's not necessarily you're listening to the broadcast. You're going to be text messaging, essentially. So if you had something to say on certain plays, you'll be talking with us back and forth or talking with me back and forth during the game. So if you want to check us out on Rave On Sports as well for the Miami Patriots game, which I'm sure I'll have lots of fun things to say about that game for sure. Also, we had Unhinged Radio earlier this season. That's going to be coming back here soon as well. So just to give you a heads up on that for some of those who were involved listening to that. And also, I mentioned earlier our partnership with Linktree will be on the television as well. So that'll be coming up soon, starting next week. So we'll bring all that to our fans as well. All right, well, we got a few Saturday games to talk about before we get into Sunday. So let's begin the Saturday breakdown.
Don't stop, get it. Don't stop, get it. That pussy.
Thanks. Yeah, it's early. I forgot. All right. So last night we had the first game was KC against the Broncos. It was actually a little tighter than what we thought. And actually probably the bigger news was Tyreek Hill pregame getting an injury and not playing in the game. So that was actually probably the biggest news that came out of the game. Pat Mahomes had a decent day, 270 yards in the air, 2 TDs. He rushed 9 times for 54 yards. Actually was their lead rusher, which was crazy enough. Darrell Williams kind of disappointed. He had been one of your flops this week. 7 rushes for 17 yards. So big time disappointment there. Merkel Carmen, 8 receptions, 103 yards. He led the way there as well. Travis Kelce also a little hobbled in this particular matchup, but he did get he had 4 receptions. I didn't write down the yards, and he got a touchdown as well. I think it was very minimal, his yardage. So
34.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the backup on that. So very minimal day for Travis Kelce, for your Travis Kelce owners. On the Broncos side, Drew Lock, he threw for 162 yards, didn't get a TD, but man, he looked like sexy of running the football. 35 yards, 2 touchdowns. Maybe it was a little bit with the footing. I don't know what it was, but he was looking like the white Mike Vick out there for a little bit.
I won't go that far.
Melvin Gordon, 110 yards on the ground, 1 TD, 1 reception for 6 yards as well. For Melvin, Javonte Williams, he was a little unremarkable, 46 yards on the ground, 2 receptions for 18 yards as well. So, Nick, anything big takeaway you came out of the KC Denver matchup?
The most surprising thing is that Mahomes played the whole game. I thought they would have pulled him just for freak play, that he would have gotten injured. You kind of want to have your stars to play in the playoffs. But again, apparently Andy Reid knows more than I do, so we'll let him do his job. It was a pedestrian day for Patrick Mahomes. I'm happy to see that Melvin Gordon had a big game, because usually people bag on him, but he's had a good season. Tim Patrick, again, not the sexiest of names out there, but he had 6 catches for 95 yards, and he's probably he's not the flashiest, but he's probably the most consistent receiver out of that Denver receiving core, because look who's back there throwing to him. So pretty good game overall.
To your credit, you brought that name up way back in the offseason, so kudos to you there for Tim Patrick. He came up, again, somewhat big for you if you were riding into this championship week with a good performance on the last game. Let's go on to the next matchup. This is the one I'm sure you really want to dive into. The Cowboys all over the Eagles, 51-26. This was interesting to me. Obviously the Cowboys needed this game way more than Eagles did. Eagles were good either way. But Dak Prescott, 295 yards, 5 touchdowns on the get. Oh, wow. It was just he just made the secondary look like Swiss cheese yesterday. It was pretty bad. Zeke Elliott, 87 yards on the ground, 1 reception for 3 yards. Cedric Wilson was the big receiving threat, 5 receptions, 119 yards for 2 touchdowns. Amari Cooper chimed in, 5 receptions, 79 yards. Mr. Schultz, 3 receptions, 21 yards, 2 touchdowns for Dalton. On the Eagles side, Minnie Minshew, he had an okay. He looked all right. He had some decent throws. I know the one that I forget who it was to, was early. He threw one a streak down the field, and it was just right through the guy's hand. So he's had some opportunities early. We're just missing it, unfortunately. But they had an okay game. Like I said, 186 yards, 2 TDs, and a pick for him. Gainwell led the way on the ground for 78 yards with a TD, 4 receptions, 9 yards for Kenneth. Quez Watkins showed up last night with 3 receptions, 84 yards, and a TD. Nick, what do you got to say? We're going to transition TSS Fantasy more into a football type show as we get into the playoffs. So your thoughts on this matchup, not just fantasy wise, but any concern for the Eagles going into the playoffs with Dak making that secondary look pretty weak?
Well, I thought Dallas played a wonderful game against a bunch of scabs, because that's basically what it was. Philly rested 10 starters. Good job throwing almost 300 yards to second and third string players. Good job. And even with that, I haven't called it. I said Zeke's not going to have a good game. He got you 8 points. Woohoo! I said CeeDee Lamb was going to sit him. He got you 4.5. Woohoo! Okay, so we all know what Gardner Minshew is. He had that wonderful game against the Jets, but since Dallas didn't rest any of their players, we saw what he is. He's not good. I knew that going into it. Gainwell, again, Philly played with a backup offensive line. They played with a backup defensive line. They sat 10 starters, so it looks bad, but it's really much to do about nothing, because Dallas just wanted to run up the score because they wanted to keep the momentum. Okay, good. Keep the momentum. And then when Arizona comes in and kicks your ass on your home field, then you can keep your momentum going into your golf tournaments. Philly, I don't expect much out of Philly. I'm not going to come up here all fired up, all miserable. They're going to be one and done in the playoffs. So I'm happy they even made the damn dance. So it is what it is. Dallas played A players, Philly played B and C players, and that's what you got.
So for the listening audience who is new to us, I mean, this is a kind of a Flander take. You can kind of tell the butt hurt is strong with this one. All right, let's move on. We're going to go into
that's a reality hurt.
We're going to go into injuries now. A doctor is not in, unfortunately, this Sunday. He'll be back to join us on our regular shows. Unfortunately, since the doc ain't in, he did teach me in school, so I do know a few things. So today I'll play Doc. It's time for Dr. Miller's house call. All righty, let's talk about the injuries for today. Lamar Jackson with his ankle is out today. So we'll have Huntley in for this matchup against the Steelers. Real quick, just want to get your thoughts. I'm not going to go too much into the injuries, but I want to get your thoughts on this matchup. We're going to go into it a little later. But do you expect out a lot, since we're talking about Jackson, do you expect a lot out of Huntley today?
Go against Pittsburgh. He's going to have a pretty decent day, maybe 280. A score or two, and then I think he's going to do the bulk of his damage on the ground. But I don't think he's going to be a pushover. No, because Pittsburgh's defense, as much as I'm a Steelers fan as well, their defense is not that good this year. So, but Joe Hayden's back today. They're getting some of their starters back to get them back into the fold. So let's see. But I'm still going to stick by my original stance, about 280, 1 or 2 scores in the air, and he may get 30, 40 yards on the ground.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's going to have a pretty decent day. All right, we're going to get into more than the matchups. I just wanted to bring that up to you. What I'm going to mention now, the people that are out, and actually, since he better late than never, I'd rather just bring him in now. Let's welcome the Jester into the studio. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for waking up, TSS. And you're on mute already. Here we go.
It's a rough day today, but yes, I am awake. Found out that I'm going to party hard last night. Just is going to be a grandpa. So.
Well, congratulations to you and Jocelyn welcoming a new member to the family. We do
have a little baby Jester, a little clown.
Yes, no. There's enough clowns. There's enough clowns around here, I think. All right, so I'm just going to bring up the guys who are out today again. So here we go. Lamar Jackson out. Chase Edmonds out today. Ribs and a toe injury. Talk about Ronald Jones, too. He's out today with an ankle injury. Interesting. The Bucs are really getting beat up here down the stretch. A little bit opposite of what they did last year. So it'll be interesting to see how Tom Brady saves the day again. We'll see how that goes.
They're going to sign Terrell Owens.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of people out there. Des Bryant. I mean, there's a few guys that might come out. All right. Joe Burrow, also, he's taking a little rest today. I mean, that's okay. Having a good season. So a little rest for the Cincinnati QB today. Ricky Seals-Jones, concussion, he's out. Curtis Samuel, I don't think you were playing him anyway. He's out today. James O'Shaughnessy, I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. It's the Jags tight end that's got the Irish last name. He's out today. Kadarius Toney, he's out with a shoulder. Mike Glennon with the left wrist. Again, probably not starting him if you had him in your lineup. God bless you that you made it this far. Rondell Moore, he's also out with an ankle injury. So again, a lot of Christian Kirk, AJ Green today. Expect that. Doubtful today is Braxton Berrios, who kind of emerged here late as a little fantasy darling. So he looks like he's not going to play today. Emmanuel Sanders is also out today as well. So again, they're going to get a rough shot over those Jets today. So
wasn't he out like the whole season anyway?
Yeah. So some guys that might make a return today too. Cam Akers, so you see him on the field today, quite possibly, which is really interesting after that Achilles injury. Also, Derrick Henry did not clear waivers, so we will not see Derrick Henry return today. It'd be very cool to see him return for the playoffs. So be fun to see that team rolling with Derrick Henry going on all cylinders. All right, so there are some guys that are questionable today. I don't have any updates. I'm not Adam Schefter, and I don't have any cool insiders, so I'm just going to run through them real quick. And just like I said, would just say look them up if you have them in your lineup. Aaron Jones, knee injury. Damian Harris with the hamstring. So we mentioned that earlier. Expect of a lot of Ramon Stevenson, regardless, with the hamstring. Jacoby Myers with the thigh. Jimmy Garoppolo might be playing today with that thumb injury, so might expect a little Jimmy G. That's what I heard. James Conner, heel injury, questionable. Goff and Reynolds also injured. Njoku and Hunt in that matchup also are questionable, so you might want to watch that as well. Mark Ingram with his knee is questionable. Kyle Pitts, hamstring. Josh Jacobs, ribs. Darren Waller may make a return today. So just to mark that note, and especially for a tight end, if you want to stream somebody, he returns, that'll be a nice matchup. Also, Nick Folk continues to be on the injured report and continues to play, so I think he's fine. I think it's Bill Belichick just doing his thing. All right, so I think that pretty much can – Robbie Anderson, I don't think I mentioned him for Carolina. He's also not playing – or excuse me, he's questionable today. Again, I'm not sure he's in your fantasy lineup regardless, so either way, just want to at least mention it. All right, let's get on to today's weather report.
It's gonna be bright, 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 sunshiny day.
So not so bright and shiny in Cleveland today. The Bengals at the Browns. It is 37 degrees. It looks like light rain, winds at 16 miles an hour. So a definite difference in the wind today. And also, again, with the rain, depending on how that goes. Yep, absolutely. So we'll see. Might see the running game a lot today. Again, Chubb. And again, I don't think Mixon did clear yet. So, you should see again a lot of the running game regardless. But I do like the Browns in the matchup. We'll talk about that in a little bit. FT at the Giants, 36 degrees there. It's overcast and 12-mile-an-hour winds. So nothing real significant wind-wise, but it's getting close there. And again, overcast 36. It's a little balmy day, but nothing big deal. And we got all games in Florida today. The Colts go to the Jags. It's 69 degrees, partly cloudy, 8-mile-an-hour winds. You guys know it. It's a nice day out. It's going to be nice for the games down here in Florida. Steelers at the Ravens, 33 degrees there, light rain, 10-mile-an-hour winds. So this was, we're going to talk about this matchup in a little bit, but it might be going to that more rock'em sock'em game we were expecting, hopefully with the rain like that. That'll be fun. Tennessee at Houston, 70-mile-an-hour winds, or excuse me, 70-mile-an-hour, 70 degrees. Category 7 hurricane. So Tennessee is 70 degrees, mostly cloudy. Winds are 6 mile an hour, so a nice day for that. The Jets at the Bills. So here we go. 31 degrees, light snow in the forecast, 17-mile-an-hour winds. This is like an AFC. That's like a Jet. That's a Bills game. That's what I expect to see right there.
Yeah,
I like that.
Absolutely.
That's going to be fun to watch. Patriots, come on down here to Miami. Whatever. 78 degrees, mostly cloudy, 13-mile-an-hour winds. Whatever. Carolina at the Bucks. Yeah, like I said, for you, Nick, the same applies to me. The butt hurt is strong with America's team, Dolphins.
Reality has set in.
Carolina at the Bucks again, all Florida all the time. 83 degrees, partly cloudy, 6-mile-an-hour winds. Sun's out, guns out. Let's hit it. All right, fellas, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We come back. We're gonna do our Sunday big breakdown. Fred, I hope you're ready. Get your coffee because we got a little dance got to come in. All right, let's take a quick break. I still got to see the dance. I don't care how hungover you are, bro. We got to do the breakdown.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good today.
All right, perfect. All right, let's take that break. We come back. We'll do our breakdown.
Hey everyone, it's Commissioner Cooper from TSS Fantasy.
We are the fantasy show of the people, and our network, the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network, is no different. So we teamed up with our friends from Manscaped to give back to the people for an exciting holiday giveaway. We want you to look and feel smooth this holiday season. So we're giving away the Manscaped 4.0 Performance Package. And all you have to do is go to our Facebook page at Belly Up Sports, give us a like, and that well-deserved 5-star review, and you're entered to win. It's as simple as Grandma's holiday pie, and who knows what holiday magic awaits once those ornaments are looking shiny and new again. So what are you waiting for? Give us a like, that well-deserved 5-star review, and you could be belly up all holiday season.
Like I said it once, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Belly up is what you want to be all holiday season for sure. All right, Fred, get over your hangover. It's time for the Sunday breakdown.
Don't stop, get it. Don't stop, get it. That pussy rock that.
Oh, I forgot. Wait, Nick.
I was just getting into it.
Nick
I
got
was smooth.
Nick
What happened
was
to
so,
Nick?
Nick was so disgusted with your dance, he got up. He's like, I got to get out of here. All right, we're going to start. We'll start without Nick with the Bears at the Vikings today. Vikings favored by 5.5 in this matchup. Looking at the fantasy perspective, the Bears are 25th, against fantasy QBs, 16th versus the running back, 18th versus the receiver, 7th versus fantasy tight ends. On the Viking side, they are 28th versus fantasy QBs, 23rd versus fantasy running backs, they're dead last against fantasy receivers, and 10th against tight ends. Let's talk about the Viking side of things, Fred. Who do you like in this particular matchup on the Viking side?
I like the Vikings. I still think if I was reading everything correctly, I think their starters are still going to play most of the game. They want to set the tone for next season. I guess this what's his name? Oh my God, I forgot the coach's name. Wants to keep his job. I mean, he didn't even let his 3rd round pick get in the field before a couple of minutes to see what the kid got. So I'm still going to go with the Vikings on this one.
All right. Well, Nick, in this, we're talking about I know you just joined us again. So we're talking about the Bears at Vikings. So I was asking Fred some people he liked on the Vikings, but he did not.
I went with the game. I'm sorry. So I just say all the starters on the Viking. Go with Jefferson. Go with Cousins.
Yeah, no, I agree. They and again, they are going to play this game. I mean, why not? What else they got to do? So I'm sure you'll see all their starters out today. Nick, anyone on the Bears side that you like?
No. If they really, they're going to roll out there Andy Dalton or Nick Foles. They're throwing to Mooney, who's up and down, Robinson, who's non-existent. They're going to be just giving the ball to Montgomery if he does anything. So I think today the Bears are going to be bringing the hammer.
Oh, all right.
Oh, I like that. I like the hammer.
Okay,
the hammer.
Actually, the Bears are going to get hammered.
Because
they are not worthy. They are not worthy.
Something the Jester knows all about for sure. Listen, so I kind of disagree with you guys. I like Mooney today. Again, I brought it up. The Vikings were dead last against fantasy receivers. So I kind of like Mooney in this matchup, and I do like Montgomery on the Bears side of things. And Fred, I do agree. I like Vikings all the way around. They're favored again by 5.5 points in that matchup. All right, let's go on to our next matchup, the Bengals at the Browns. The Browns favored by 6 in this particular matchup. Again, Bengals without Joe Burrow today, without pretty much Joe Mixon, it's going to be a sad day for the Bengals, I think. They are 16th against fantasy QBs, 11th versus the running back, 15th versus receivers, 27th versus fantasy tight ends. On the Browns side, 14th versus fantasy QBs. They are 14th versus fantasy running backs, 9th versus fantasy receivers, pretty impressive, and 18th versus fantasy tight ends. Knicks, Nick, who do you like on the Brown side today, and who do you like in the matchup?
What's their kicker's name?
The kicker.
That's what I like. They're not playing with Mayfield because he sucks anyway. Right now, the over-under is 37.5. So that's just going to tell you a lot what's going on with this game. They're going to throw Keenum out there, which I think is actually better than Baker Mayfield. I'm just going to go with Chubb, and if Hunt plays, I'll go with Hunt. Other than that, the Browns are what they are.
They are what we thought they were, except for me. I thought they were going to win the division. All right, Fred, who you like on the depleted Bengals side? Like anybody big here today? Jamar Chase, though, chasing that record today, so no pun intended.
That's what I was. Excuse me. I was gonna say the same thing. I said I would start Jamar Chase because you got big bad Brandon Allen throwing to him. I mean, today he could set the record, and of course, you're a rookie quarterback. You're not a rookie, but you're a backup quarterback. It's your first start. It's against the Browns. Hey, man, start Brandon Allen if you're feeling froggy.
Feeling froggy indeed. Again, I still like Jamar Chase. I mean, no matter what. Again, if you listen to TSS Fantasy, we told you Jamar Chase is going to be a top 10 receiver this year. He's definitely making us look real smart on that end of things. I agree with you, Nick. I like Chubb today, regardless of the Bengals defense. Again, Bengals putting the Browns offense in good positions today. So I kind of, like I said, I like Chubb. Goal line carry guy, so should be good for him today. All right, let's move on to our next one. The Packers at the Lions. Packers favored in this one by 3. We're not sure how much we're going to see of Aaron Rodgers today, so that's going to be an issue for your fantasy perspective. So you might want to start Jordan Love today. Packers side of things, 22nd against fantasy QBs, 7th versus running backs, 12th versus receivers, 22nd versus the tight end. On the Lions side, their defense, 26th versus quarterbacks, 31st versus running backs, 21st versus receiver, and 23rd versus the tight end. Fred, let's start with you on this one. Give me the Packers side of the ball. Who do you like on that side and then in this matchup?
Wow. Now I'm up against it because I don't even know who's playing. You know what? You still go with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's gonna play half the game. I mean, this is basically just a tune-up. Everybody get rested. But I would throw Aaron Rodgers still in there, even if he plays halftime. It's still against Detroit. He'll get you a couple of touchdowns, maybe 150 yards. So he'll still give you some points.
Yeah, I mean, and the Packers side too. I like A.J. Dillon a lot. We talked about, again, we've talked about him all offseason as the weather gets colder, things like that. You like to see A.J. Dillon like really pounding the football. Now in Detroit, obviously that doesn't matter, the cold, but still A.J. Dillon's on a roll. And again, the Detroit Lions are 31st versus fantasy running backs. Yes, sir.
Really quick, do you know why Aaron Rodgers is playing? He has 5 incentives in his contract that if he passes them to make, he gets $100,000 each.
How far is he away? Do you know?
Yes. So he has to be top 3 in the league. That includes touchdown passes. He's tied for 3rd with 35. Completion percentage, he's at 4th at 68.6. And he ranks right now 1st in the league in passer rating and interception percentage. So he's already got 2. He's trying to get the other 2.
That's actually really big that you brought that up because that means it's not just a meaningless start. He might be looking to put up some big numbers while he's in. Right. So that's a big bring up. Appreciate that. Nick, about Detroit, who do you like on that side of the ball?
Well, Green Bay is definitely going to be bringing the hammer today. I'm telling you right now. But I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like him. He always gets points in garbage time. So with that, I also like Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff might have a sneaky good game. He's still trying to prove himself in Detroit to the coaching staff and I'm sure to the fan base. So I like those two today.
Indeed.
That's
All right,
about it.
let's go. I hear you. I hear you. I do like if I like Reynolds too. Like if he ends up going, he ends up having some sneaky good games sometimes too. So I like him as well. Colts at the Jags. On to our next matchup. Colts favored by 15. Wow. I know you've heard the stat all week that they haven't won there since I forget what year it was, but yeah, I think that definitely ends today. But the Colts on defense, they're 23rd against fantasy quarterbacks, 5th versus running backs, 23rd versus receiver, and 30th versus fantasy tight ends. On the Jag side, they're 18th versus quarterbacks, 22nd versus the running back, 26th versus receiver, and 15th versus the tight end. Let's start with you on this one, Nick. Talk about the Colts. Who do you like from them on this side today?
I'm going to go with the usual suspects. I'm going to go with Wentz. He has to play well today. I mean, they don't have to win by 15. They have to win by 1. Because I know they have to win to get a better seed, and plus that they don't want to fall to Jacksonville at all. I mean, nobody does. And then of course I like Taylor. Taylor's got 18 TDs on the season. He could push it to 20 to 23. Who knows? And then of course I like Pittman. So those will be my 3 offensive players today for the Colts. And like again, they have to win by 1, not by 15. So just get the W, improve your seeding, and get on out of there.
Fred, talk about the Jags. Anybody you like on the Jag side?
I mean, we have to go with Trevor Lawrence, right? The last game of the season. He hasn't had a great season right now. You have to, you want to go into trust me, I have a rookie quarterback on my team. So you want to go into the next season with some confidence, like you're building on something, like, okay, next season's going to be better. So definitely I would start Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, and again, Colts 23rd versus fantasy quarterbacks. Not expecting a huge day from Trevor Lawrence, but again, if the Colts are putting up points, the Jags are, again, garbage time. We've talked about that during the offseason. Garbage time doesn't matter in fantasy, so you could see some good garbage time for the Jags. Nick, like you mentioned, get in, get your W, so expect some good output early. I think from the Colts, and then see how far the lead gets, and then just kind of see where it goes from there. I'm sure that's what the game plan is going in to this one. All right, let's get into this juicy one here, because I know Nick can't wait to talk about this matchup. The Steelers at the Ravens. So the Ravens, again, are favored right now by 3.5 points. We talked about the weather a little bit. Going to make things, conditions might be a little sloppy today in this one, which makes it good, I think. Defensively, the Steelers are 20th versus fantasy QBs, 27th versus fantasy running backs, 22nd versus receivers, 9th versus tight ends. On the Ravens side, 31st versus fantasy quarterbacks, so maybe a nice way for Ben to go out today. 15th versus running backs, 31st versus receivers, 29th versus tight ends. So we'll start with you, Fred, on this one, and we'll go with the Ravens. Who do you like on the Ravens side of the ball today?
Yeah, there you go, Mr. Tyler Huntley. You're getting another start this week. I mean, the poor man's Lamar Jackson. What else can you ask for? Definitely start him. It's his kind of game. He's a running quarterback. That's what you're going to need today. Sloppy field, hard hitting, Steelers versus Ravens, that same division. They just like to whip each other's ass. So definitely start Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. All right, Nick, let's dive into this a little bit. What do you think in this matchup? Tell me who you like, too. I'm curious.
I like Najee Harris in this for Pittsburgh, and I like Freiermuth. There's really not a whole hell of a lot for them to do, both teams, because they both have single-digit chances to make the playoffs. They both have to win, and they need like 8 teams to win as well and lose. So they won't make playoffs, either one of them, I don't think. So Ben just wants to have a good showing. It's like when you're in PE class or when you're on the local court, when you're shooting around, you don't want to leave with a missed shot. So he wants to win. So I think they're gonna fight like hell to get him that win. And let's roll with it. Let's see. But again, I'm not looking for big point point productions from either team due to the weather condition. I believe. Let's see here. Oh yeah. All right. So the over under is 41. So Vegas isn't looking for a big game. The two big studs might be Boswell and Tucker today.
Might be, and some defensive
Come on,
play today
Nick.
too.
All you need is a Steelers win and a Colts loss, and the Raiders and Chargers don't end in a tie, and you're in. You're in there.
I think the exact opposite of what you're saying, Nick, because they're not going to know. It's going to be the 1 o'clock game. I mean, it's a 1 o'clock game, so they really don't know what's going to happen later. They're going to be both are going to be balls out today. So not only do I expect a lot of defense and smacking me, I expect a lot of expect some trickery today. That's all throughout the NFL, because a lot of these teams don't even have a lot to even play for. So expect some guys to throw the ball when you're not expecting. It's a lot of trickeries and stuff. I'm sure in the Dolphin game, I'm going to see a lot of that crap.
Well,
anyway, let me get
Ben did say he was going to be peeking at the Colts game score throughout the game.
Of course, yeah. I mean, how could you not? All right, let's move. Let's move on to the Titans at the Texans. Titans are favored by 10 in this matchup. Need a win to secure number 1 seed, so it could be a big one there for Tennessee. On the Tennessee side of the ball, they are the defense are 11th versus fantasy quarterbacks. They are number 1 against fantasy running backs, 29th versus receiver, and 5th versus a tight end. Texans are 21st versus the quarterback, 30th versus the running back, 17th versus receiver, 24th versus the tight ends. All right, so we'll start with you, Nick, on this one. Talk about the Titans. Who do you like on that side of the football? Who do you like in the matchup?
I like Tannehill, and I like Foreman, and I like Brown. And I'm looking at this final injury report. According to ESPN, breaking news, Deshaun Watson is out.
I was like, oh, man, he got something juicy going on. Wow.
The over-under is 42.5, but I expect, like you said, Tennessee needs to win to secure the number 1 overall seed. So they're going to make sure that they do that. They're going to go down there. They're going to handle their business. Mike Vrabel, as a matter of fact, is also in contention for Coach of the Year. So what not a way better to help solidify that is to go out with a win, regular season, lead your team to a number 1 seeding in the playoffs and your first round bye. I mean, that's Christmas right there. So they're gonna take care of business. Houston, they don't have much to stop the running game. Would you say they were ranked against the run?
Sorry, let me pull my sheet.
31 or something?
30, yeah, they were 31st, correct.
Okay, yeah, good luck with that. So I think Foreman is going to roll all over him. He may break 120 today in 2 scores.
Indeed. All right, Fred, is there anything on the Texans side? I know you like David Mills. You want to talk about Mills and Cooks? Go ahead.
I actually think the Texans are going to still try to play hard today. I mean, I think David Mills. Yeah, I think so. They're not just gonna roll over like probably my Jets will against Buffalo. But David Mills, I definitely think he's gonna throw the ball today. I think Cooks is gonna play, and I also think Rex Burkhead with his brand new contract signed through 2022 is gonna play hard. I mean, you don't want to go out. You don't want to go out, man, just laying down. You have a chance to stop the Titans, play spoiler. I think David Mills has a big game. Upset.
It's Davis Mills. Davis.
Oh, sorry.
Whatever. Good. Hey, tomato. We got you. We know you're in love with Mills. We got it.
Davis Mills.
Yes. That's why Nick's a teacher. He's here to correct your grammar. All right. Let's go on to our next matchup. The Redskins go to New York to face the New York Giants. They're favored by 7 in this matchup. They are defensively dead last against fantasy QBs. Not that the Giants are playing anybody important. 18th versus the running back, 30th versus receiver, 16th versus the tight end. Giants side of the ball, 13th versus QB, 24th against the running back, 14th versus receiver, and 11th versus the tight ends. All right, so Fred, we'll start with you. Talk about the Giants. Anybody you like on that side of the ball?
I don't know. This one's pretty rough, buddy. This one is pretty rough trying to get somebody to talk about here. Wow, I don't even know. No Tony. I mean, I'm just grasping at straws, to be honest. Saquon Barkley playing, is he going to show that he can actually still have something left in the tank? Honestly, I wouldn't, as a fantasy owner, I would start the culprits like Saquon and Galladay, but honestly, this is probably one of the worst games on the slate today. There's nothing going on. So I'm just going to pass it off to Nick.
Nick, talk about FT. Anybody you like on that side?
Let's see. So before we get into that, Washington and the Giants in their last 5 games combined are 1-9. So
Terrible.
Enjoy this one.
With some weather added to it too.
I'm sorry.
I said with weather added to these great matchups too.
Yeah, and I like Heineke. I like the way Heineke plays. Does he play well all the time? No, but he plays hard. So I like him, and then I like Gibson. I like Gibson to close out the season strong. The over/under is 38. The Giants are getting 7 today. So, and I don't know if this is valid information, but a leak is going to be that they're going to announce their new name and logo on February 2nd, which is true, but they could be going with the Commanders.
Commanders. I like football team. I just keep it that way.
Do you know that this game, which is usually a great game, I'm going to do the Nick here. You can watch the Washington football team and Giants for a low price of $9.
Oh my God. Listen, like I got a quick story real quick because we got to get on. But I put my tickets up for the Dolphins-Patriots game up last week prior to the Tennessee game for a ridiculous price. $400 a piece. Somebody bought. So if you're listening to, let's go talk about our next matchup.
Wait. You got to say that again. I missed it. You froze.
All over again.
Oh no!
I heard the $400 part.
Yeah, we heard $400.
Okay, my bad. So they sold right prior to the game. So thank God, like I got, because now they're basically worth nada. Like if you look at the ticket prices today, they're definitely not going for $400 a piece. That's for sure. So
are you gonna give us money back?
We absolutely not. Enjoy the game. It might be a Patriots fan, so I don't even know who it is. So they might be enjoying it. So it's funny. All right, so let's move on. Panthers at the Bucks. Bucks are favored in this matchup by 8. We'll talk about the defenses in this matchup. Panthers 8th versus fantasy QBs, 10th versus running back, 6th versus receiver, 12th versus tight end. On the Bucks side, 24th versus fantasy QBs. Third versus fantasy running backs, 8th versus receiver, 21st versus the tight end. So, Nick, we'll start with you on this one. Talk about the Bucs side, who you like on that particular side of the ball.
I don't know if Brady's playing for any incentives, so I don't know how much he's going to play. But I would be interested personally as a Gator fan. I like to see Kyle Trask get in there and do some damage. Le'Veon Bell might be the next man up today. He might carry the ball, and I like Mike Evans today. And Gronk needs. I think he needs 70 yards to get $100,000.
All right. Well, that's
he's playing for that.
Hey, better have my money. I heard that. Throw me the ball, Tom. All right, who you like on the Panther side, Fred?
Wow, this is tough. I'm gonna go. I believe Sam Darnold is starting. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's the only one I'm gonna go with, and this is because this is it. He has to start playing well. At least showcase for your future, man. Like, throw the ball around, sling it around, throw some touchdowns. The Bucs are suspect, as you seen. The Jets almost beat them. Get your yards in. Look good for the next job. Come on.
Indeed. All right, let's move on because that particular matchup, I don't think that's going to be a fun game.
Boring.
Indeed. Let's talk about a more exciting game. The Patriots come down to face America's team, the Miami Dolphins. Patriots are favored by 6 in this matchup. I'm not real happy with America's team right now, so I'm not going to really boast too much. But the Patriots on that side, they are second versus fantasy QBs, 17th versus running backs, 5th versus receiver, 2nd versus fantasy tight ends. The Dolphins, they are 6th versus fantasy QBs, 13th versus running backs, 19th versus receiver, 17th versus tight end. Fred, I know that after we went down and held the flag, and you put the Miami shirt on, you've kind of converted a little bit to a Miami fan. So let's hear about Miami. Let's hear what you like about Miami side of the ball today.
Listen, man, that usually look, even though they're not in the playoffs, they always play the Patriots hard. I think Tua's gonna. I mean, I'm really rooting for Jalen Waddle. The kid is good, man. I think he got 99 receptions right here now with 988 yards, if I'm correct. I mean, I'm gonna play hard. I want my 100 receptions. I want 1,000 yards as a rookie. So I'm definitely starting Jalen Waddle today and Tua because Tua's gonna throw it to him. And you step up big for the Patriots. So I'm definitely starting Waddle and Tua. All
right, Nick, who do you like on the Patriots side of the ball?
I like their defense today, especially if they cut off the left side of the field. So Tua's got nowhere to throw to. As far as individual players today, I like Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's gonna have a big day due to the fact that Harris is not available, and also like Jacoby Myers. So let's see if Jacoby can actually get in the end zone. Right now, he's 4 yards shy of 800. So let's see if we can get him over the top.
Yeah, he might. I mean, again, with the Patriots, they don't have that big number one guy. So, it's not like Xavier Howard's going to, shadow Myers or Bourne or anyone today. So, he could have a decent day.
Flores' job is safe, correct?
Yeah, I'm sure he's good. With that win streak they put on, I'm sure he'll be fine. Like I said, in the offseason, Deshaun Watson, come on down. All right, the Saints at Atlanta. Saints are favored by 3.5 in this matchup. Let's talk about the fantasy defenses. The 5th versus QBs, 2nd versus the running back, 16th versus receiver, 8th versus tight end. On Atlanta's side of the ball, they are 30th versus QB, 25th versus running back, 27th versus receiver, and 13th versus the tight end. Fred, we'll start with you. Talk about the Saints side of the ball. Who do you like in this particular matchup?
I like everybody on the Saints side of the ball. Okay, so Kamara has to play good today. It's a must. You must win the game for the Saints to make it to the playoffs. So start Kamara. He's the all-star. He's the superstar. He has everything. He needs to do everything. Start Kamara. And who's quarterback? I think it's I forgot his
Hill.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. Start him too. Today is a must-win for the Saints. It's an important game. Start Hill. Start Kamara.
All right, Nick, who do you like on Atlanta's side of the ball?
I like Pride. Right now, they're playing for Pride. Matt Ryan could be playing for a new team next year, so he wants to go out with a winner. And the only really relevant player on Atlanta all season has been Patterson. So start Cordero Patterson on that side of the ball. Right now, Kyle Pitts is questionable. The over-under is 40. And Atlanta is getting 3.5. And over the last 5, Atlanta is 2-3. And New Orleans is also New Orleans is 3-2.
All right, so so it'll again going for Pride. Matt Ryan actually has had a pretty okay season this year. And for those that are listening, if you can hear, my wife's up, so she has to, of course, come in, make coffee, and be loud. So just so if anyone
consistent though, Ryan has not been consistent at all.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm looking over at Mary Jane right now, like, what are you doing? She's like, I don't care. I'm getting my coffee, player. Sorry about your luck. Sorry about your little podcast. All right, Jets at the Bills. Let's go on to the next matchup. Bills are favored by 16. And we talked about it earlier.
16.
Yep, we talked about it earlier. The light snow expected in this matchup, so this is going to be one of those games. Buffalo Bills going to be fun to watch. Jets are 27th versus fantasy QBs, dead last against running backs, 13th versus receivers, 26th versus the tight end. Bills number 1 against fantasy QBs, 21st versus running back, 1st versus receiver, and 4th versus the tight end. I forgot who started last, so I'm just going to go with you, Nick, and we'll give me the Bills side of the ball because I know that somebody wants to talk about the Jets. Who do you like in this matchup?
Okay, well, I like the fans in this game because if you're going out to watch the Bills and the Jets in almost sub-zero weather and 17-mile-an-hour winds, you are true fans. Also, I'm going to pull a Freddie here today. According to Vivid Seats, if you want to go to this game and you have $6, you can go to this game. $6.
Is that really? Are you serious?
$6.
Yes.
I'm looking at it too. $6.
Listen, me and the missus, we're on a stadium tour, and I would have just loved to go to a game for $6, especially Buffalo. Like, just how fun the atmosphere that is.
You can't get a hot dog for $6.
I hear you, exactly.
So, Adam, getting back to the game, getting back to the players. If it's 17-mile-an-hour winds, it's going to be a run game. I like Singletary. Maybe it's going to be a short dink and dunk game for Allen. So I think your two biggest runners today are going to be Josh Allen and Devin Singletary. And just for pride, just because he's on my team, even though I'm out of it, I hope Dawson Knox gets a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, again, Jets 26 versus tight end. That's definitely possible. Fred, let's talk about your Jets. Anyone you like on that side of the ball today?
Yes. Oh, Zach Wilson. This is going to be a tough game for the Jets, man, because the Bills are playing for the AFC East title, man. So I'm still going with Zach Wilson. Every week for the last 4 weeks, he's gotten better, and better. He's all we have today. Berrios out, Moore out, everybody's out. So everything's going to land on Zach Wilson, which is pretty sad. He's a rookie, but he will put up some garbage fantasy points. I think we're going to get blown out today.
I just want to make sure we're clear. Every game, Fred, is a tough game for the Jets. Just make sure we got that. Make sure that's said. All right, so let's go on to the next matchup. The 49ers go to LA to face the Rams. The 49ers are favored 4.5 in this matchup. Going with the fantasy defense rankings, 15th. The 49ers are 15th versus fantasy quarterbacks, 9th versus running backs, 24th versus receiver, 6th versus fantasy tight ends. The Rams, number 3 versus fantasy quarterbacks, 8th versus the running backs, 7th versus receiver, 14th versus the tight end. Fred, we'll start with you on this one. We'll get through the Rams side of the ball. Who do you like on this matchup and with the Rams?
Man, this is probably one of the better games today, honestly. They both playing for something. I think you got to go with all the culprits from the Rams. You got to start Stafford. You got to start and whoever's playing offensively, you play. I won't say start their defense now because 49ers are going to be playing hard. They're trying to get into the playoffs. So lay off the Rams defense. But any offensive player, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, anybody on the Rams side of the ball, play him. This is probably one of the better games today.
Nick, anyone on the other side of the ball? The 49ers, I couldn't remember who it was, like in this matchup.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the last time back in November when they played, the 49ers just ran it down their throat. I mean, they won 31-10. Even though it was in San Francisco, I'm from the mantra, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So if they can run on them again, Elijah Mitchell had 91 yards. You always got to watch out for Debo. Debo's a stud. And then Jimmy's playing for his job because he knows that Trey Lance is just nipping at his heels. He knew now that they drafted Lance, he knew that Garoppolo, he's on borrowed time. So I think he's going to go in there and he's going to make the most of it. LA is 5-0 in their last 5 games, and San Francisco is, I think they're 3-2 or 4-1, if I'm not mistaken. But it's going to be a good game. The Niners. Let me see here. I just flipped my screen. The game it's supposed to be a high scoring game today. So again, Cooper Kupp, and let's see here. I'm trying to stall for you, Jason. So I'm
You got
trying
to stall for me.
I'm
Well, I
trying to keep it together. 44.5. So and the Niners are getting 3.5.
All right,
So
we're up against.
Run the ball, keep the Rams off the field.
$166 to watch this game.
Wow. All right. We only got a couple minutes. So we got to blow through these next two, which is a
Let's do
shame.
it.
because I say these are last. Seahawks at Cardinals. Cardinals favored 6.5. Seahawks defense 19th versus quarterback, 29th versus running back, 11th versus receiver, 25th versus tight end. Cardinal side 9th versus quarterback, 6th versus running back, 28th versus receiver, 3rd versus tight end. Nick, start anyone on Seahawks you like.
I think Russell Wilson's going to have a nice game going out, and I think Tyler Lockett.
Fred, Cardinals.
Kyler Murray. He has to do everything. Edmonds is out. Connor's out. All about Kyler Murray, and he's trying to win a division. So let's go Cardinals.
All right. In our last matchup, the Chargers, the finale of the biggest season ever, going to Las Vegas. Both got a lot to play for, winning in today. For the Chargers, defensively, 17th versus fantasy quarterbacks, 28th versus running backs, 4th versus receiver, dead last against fantasy tight ends. Raiders, 10th versus quarterback, 26th versus running back, 3rd versus receiver, 28th versus the tight end. Fred, start with you. Raiders. Anybody you like on that side of the ball?
Got to go with David Carr and hopefully Josh Jacobs play. It's going to be a great game, Monday Night Football, playing for their playoff lives. So, yes, I know it's in Vegas, but start David Carr, man. He has to go out. He has to be spectacular. They need to win. He wants the fan base to trust him. Start David Carr.
Nick, how about LA?
On a footnote to Vegas, Bisaccia, if he wins the game, it might help him solidify that head coaching job for next season. So they're going to play hard. But excuse me, on the Chargers side, of course, I like Herbert, Eckler, and Mr. Allen today.
Really quickly, to watch this game on Monday Night Football, you know how we always make fun of the $6 and the $9? This shit's at $282.
Oh, that's Vegas. It's expensive.
Right. Well, not only that. That goes back to what I was saying with my seats. It all fluctuates on what's going on with the game. So prior to the Tennessee game, that Patriots game was going to be them to win or in basically. So that's why the seats were so much. Now I didn't even look to see how much they are, but I'm sure they're way less than what they were valued prior. So that's probably why there's so much today. Because look, it's win or in for both those teams. And I wanted to mention this real quick, so I'm glad we had some time. I forgot the whole scenario, but how wild is it that depending on if teams won or not, that it mutually benefits the Chargers and the Raiders to tie. So what kind of conversation is that? Like, I get like there's too much going on. There's too much price, too much money to say, hey, whatever. But, during the game, if it comes down to it and it's close at the end, are you telling me if you're one of the coaches, you're not sending a message to the other side like, hey, stick with me, let's get to the playoffs and we'll see what happens. But being their division rivals, but would you ever trust the other guy to do the right thing? That's
Never.
The other thing, right? Because I know I'd be like, sure, bro, absolutely. Yeah, here goes that field goal. Bye-bye. Indeed, yeah. That was interesting to say the least.
I'm glad that we have a couple of good games to end the season with, and some meaningful games.
Yeah, indeed, the longest season ever. It's been great. Been a great season thus far. We're going to talk about that on our playoff shows. Fred, I know you missed some of the summer flashback series, but next Friday we're going to bring the summer flashback series back. So you're going to hear some good stuff from that. All right.
My favorite is no quarterback has ever made the Hall of Fame with the same team.
Yeah, Fred missed that. I wish we had some time to play that. I really wanted to play that today, but we'll play that on Friday again, and I'll pull up some other good stuff that, of course, we had some good stuff from it. All right, so we're up against it. Again, don't forget, check us out, tssfantasy.com. All of our great rankings on there. Don't forget, Wake Up Belly Up. Got Coach Steve later coming up following us. And also, don't forget, I will be on Rave On Sports today doing the Dolphin game. So if you want to check us out there, it's a text message app, so we can talk about the game via text in Rave On. It's a very fun thing to do. That way you can listen to the game without doing it. Also, Colorcast. Don't forget to check us out. Download the app. You can interact with us live. We appreciate you, and we are out.
It's time